Yo, 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 what's up? What's up, beautiful souls? So, tonight, I do missing persons and I do murders, and I investigate cases with my abilities. My name is Josh Sterling. I am a spirit medium. I am an oracle. I see past, present, and future. I talk to the dead, and I am also a healer. So, tonight, Spirit put it on my heart to do the case of Charlie Bothuell of Detroit, Michigan, who was reported missing for 11 days in 2016, who was then found in the basement, abused, beat, and more. Okay, um, unacceptable. Okay, I'm gonna save my testimony for the end. For this case, is very personable, so I would love to give my personal testimony in order to shed light or maybe lead a soul to peace of mind and to know that there is love and light out here when you're in terrible situations. Okay, all right. This is the young man who was literally found 11 days in his father and stepmother's home in Detroit after being reported missing by them. Okay. This is the basement of which he was left in and he stayed there hiding. Okay. In early 2014, Bothuell VI and Dillard-Bothuell reported their son, Bothuell V, missing. 11 days after they filed the missing person report, Bothuell V was found in the family's basement behind boxes. Bothuell VI learned of the discovery of his son on live television while being interviewed by Nancy Grace, which became a viral video on YouTube. In April 2015, the couple were arrested and charged with torture and second-degree child abuse. The torture charge, which is proven could have resulted in life sentences, which later was dismissed by the court. This is the father, Charlie Bothuell VI, and stepmother, Monique Dillard-Bothuell, who reported the boy missing June 14, 2014. Okay, this is them as well, being actually in court with the judge. You know, they do the television thing. You feel me? They look pretty miserable right now. Um, okay, this is them as well. She looks very unbothered, which I wouldn't be, because this is the karma that goes with this, regardless of what the courts do. God is in full control. Okay, okay. Trial and aftermath. On January 19, 2016, case was resolved by Bothuell VI pleaded guilty to fourth-degree child abuse in exchange for removal of the second-degree child abuse charges. The prosecutors revealed that Bothuell V was very thin and had marks on his body from the abuse when he was found after being reported missing. Bothuell V testified that he was kept home from school and forced to engage in rigorous exercise routines daily by his parents. In addition to his allegations of being beaten, Bothuell VI also admitted to beating his son with a PVC pipe. He was sentenced to 18 months of probation and mandatory anger management classes. He also lost custody of his son and was ordered to have no further contact with him. Dillard-Bothuell reportedly accepted a plea deal earlier as well, but the details of this were not made public. It was also reported that her record would be cleared after 6 months if she stayed out of legal trouble. Okay, so I would like to bring light to the generational gap between parents during this time. Um, a lot of parents and that were born around like 1960s, 1950s are now having kids that are born in like the 80s or the 90s and there's this generational gap of discipline where what was okay for discipline back then would be considered abuse now. However, there is one set standard when you go to leaving marks on another human being. Okay, it's called abuse. That is not right either way. That just shows you that back in them days, what was wrong was considered right. It was wrong back then as well, and which this causes psychosis and a false narrative, and this generational gap causes a sense of revelations and discomfort in humanity. Okay, as you see, there was marks left on this young man. This is the father just looking confused and dazed and confused. Um, and so we have these men that go out here and have children, but multiple women, and then expect for the new wife to be the mother to a child that's not theirs. I'm not saying that that's not an appropriate assumption for a man to have, but to have that expectation, it could very well end the wrong way. Um, but we must take in consideration this child who has now been had childhood trauma of missing his mother, father finding a new woman and giving all his time to a new woman. A lot of times, all the child needs is their father's love and support, but the fathers, unfortunately, due to the generational gap and the false narrative that a lot of people force, is that um, the wife's comfort comes before the child. Okay, when regardless if it's the biological or not, which there is a gray area there because then somebody's needs aren't being met. Okay, um, and it's so unfortunate because then you leave room when a gray area is there. You leave room for abuse and mistreatment, and then these men are going out having children and relationships with women that have daddy issues or have mommy issues. And then it's like they taking the attention of the father from their child. And then the father has mother issues, absent mother issues, and have parent issues. And now they are overly catering to this woman like it's their mother. And then now their biological children doesn't have a father because they're just alone now because now you have two damaged adults that aren't loving this child who came here without flaws, just wanting to be loved, alone, teaching them how to fend for themselves, teaching them what pain is, teaching them what hurt is and what being alone is. And you know, and then it causes the child to be to act out in school, and it causes the child to have disciplinary problems, and now it gives these toxic parents the authority to abuse, and so it causes this big storm of toxicity and pain, and which the end result of this is everyone goes down. Okay, um the 13-year-old, then 12, was found by police behind a pile of boxes in the couple's basement on June 25th, 2014, while his father was being interviewed on a national television on a Nancy Grace show. I have not seen the show, but I still dove into this energy, okay? Okay, so we've got to do better. This is unacceptable. I myself have been abused verbally and physically by two stepmothers, okay? Um, I'm not going to go into it as I was going to, but being that I have healed from my trauma, I don't think it's susceptible, but I've been severely damaged by damaged women, okay? Women that with daddy issues, with molestation and rape issues that lured my father, and like as a succubus, they sucked his energy to where he wasn't able to be a father to his children. Not only were the women the succubus, but he had family that had daddy issues that wasn't able to allow him to be a father to his own children. He was actually more of a father to his siblings' children than his own children. So Childhood trauma must be healed before having children, or you are literally rebirthing dysfunction, creating a thunderstorm of pain. So now you're having these kids and you're putting this same pain into these children that you had. And it's like, then they're having children, teaching them how to be dysfunctional, and so on and so forth. And you got kids killing themselves, kids in prison, kids having unlegitimate children, not loving themselves, not knowing where home is. It's a whole mental situation that has got to be nipped at the butt. Um, Physical abuse of like extension cords, things like that is unacceptable. Okay, fire pokers, things are like, you cannot, if you already have children, you cannot, because you coming from a place of lack, get into a marriage with a woman with daddy issues. And that goes to the other side. You cannot get with a man with mommy issues. Then you both are with each other from a place of lack. And then it's like you guys are giving each other all this energy. And then what about that baby? What about that baby? Now the baby got problems, and now you're gonna find it okay to abuse them when they're just acting out because you're not loving them properly. We got to do better. Okay? In the past, I would have got on here and went hard, but hurt people hurt people. Hurt people hurt kids. Hurt parents hurt kids. So who hurt them parents? Come on. Okay? Right now, during this time of revelations and the portal that just opened, everything in dark comes to light. So the balance is being restored. But before balance is restored, things have got to get ugly, i.e., war. Okay, war, and you see all this dysfunctional stuff going on the news, people being killed. It's because things are being balanced out because the light is in control now. The righteous is running things. And so now everything that is not pure of the utmost highlight God is coming out to a head like a old nasty ass pimple. You feel me? And that's facts. And so those that have made it through the mud is here to heal. And I will use my abilities to shed light, to heal humanity any chance that I get. Because this boy is me 10 times fold. This boy is me and my siblings, period. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna do whatever I need to do to make sure that this doesn't have to be. This doesn't have to be. That boy could have loved her as if they would have just worked with him. He would have loved her. You know what I'm saying? But he needed his father. He needed to understand why his mother left as I dove into the energy. He didn't understand that at his age. He didn't understand. He was smart enough to argue back, but he wasn't smart enough to understand why he was arguing back. But they wasn't smart enough to work with. And he didn't love his son enough more than his wife to really understand his son and the capacity of his pain. You understand what I'm saying? You don't have to just do conflict resolution with another fellow human being. You've got to do conflict resolution with your children. Okay? Both parties don't have to walk, one party don't have to walk around hurt and upset in order for things to be okay. We got to love each other to argue and to agree to disagree or find a common medium so that we can both heal. We got to do better as humanity. Namaste means my soul, your soul, our soul. So what happened in this household happened to me. It happens to us. Unity is the key to a higher conscious humanity. We must set the right narrative. And the wrong narrative is the wife comes before the children. No, every soul comes first. No soul weighs more than the other. Both must be respected and loved. Because without love and nurturing, we all fall apart. You don't have to know them to love them. You don't have to know them to wish them well. You don't have to identify with them to love them. You don't have to identify with them to wish them well. Namaste.